Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Thursday, February 6th, 2014. I am Astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Check out my big February 2014 webinar, Frozen in Time, to see where will you freeze at the end of this month. And this is, speaking of freezing, a freeze frame. Mercury stationary retrograde. That means Mercury has come to a complete stop and is ready to fall backwards. And it's happening on Neptune. That this is a freeze frame on looking at the other side, stepping into our awareness in areas that we usually don't go into. Spiritual awareness, connecting on a deeper level, an emotional, a sensitivity energy in our lives. And this is freeze framing at a time when this is the sun and moon, which are making their perfect first quarter square, all while it does form a minor T-square with Saturn, which means decisions in our life based off our truth. Are we able to take off in the right direction? Is it part of our truth? And do we have everything that's necessary to make this happen? Maybe that's a complication. This also brings up financial energy because it is a moon in Taurus. This brings up physical energy. Do you have what it takes to take off in the area that you really want to, or are there restrictions there? And I think those restrictions are all about you living in your truth. That this is a big awareness to start to see that the magic really does work if you're tapped into it correctly. That's Mercury on top of Neptune. That you've got to be doing this for a spiritual reason now. I'm just going to come out and say it almost like a preacher now, that the times are showing that you're either succeeding or taking off if you're on the right road, or a day like today is where you're really realizing you're on the way wrong road in your life, that you haven't been paying attention to correct value systems, or you're not living in your truth. This is one of those days. And that's actually what this next week will be about, as Mercury's going to start its retrograde here, the sun's going to start its square to Saturn. And I think that this is a big time of transforming our lives as the North Node is finishing up its transit in Scorpio. And these are intense times. These are the final blows by the universe to step you into your truth and to wipe you clean of bullshit in your life and to let go of energy that you're not supposed to be on. And this Mercury retrograde wants you to see if you're going with the flow correctly of what the spiritual world wants you to do. Are you flowing in your life? Are you paying attention to the signs? Are you allowing yourself to go with the flow? And I think that's what this is about, you know? Or are you escaping? You know, one thing about a Mercury on Neptune retrograde like this is there can be just complete consciousness or complete unconsciousness. You're dealing with two fish. What side of the fish are you on? Now, I've said in my webinar that I relate Mercury retrograde in Pisces as to Mr. Limpet when he loses his glasses and he has I think it's crabby on it, or crusty, when he has crusty on top of the fish. And you know what, I'll put the little video up here so you can see. But yeah, with crusty on top, like navigating the way for Mr. Limpet. Because without those glasses on, we have to rely on our spiritual channel. Whether that's a guide, like crusty is, a spiritual guide if we want to look more deeper on it. That as we're navigating the waters in our life right now, as the fish, we need to be going with the flow that feels right, that the energy, like, I don't know if you remember that movie, but there was this call out there that Mr. Limpet made to know when the subs were around, and that there's these callings in our life pulling us on these new directions, and they might not make sense. And actually, you know what? I bet you they don't make logical sense. There was just a big debate on YouTube with Bill Nye the Science Guy and a Christian, you know, guy debating science and religion and how to look at science from a religious point of view, a creationalist point of view, or a point of view of evolutionary. And I would say it's neither. That we need to rise above on these two-sided energies, and we really need to now connect with this electricity, which is connecting everything together. Whether we're connecting Christianity to astrology, or whether we're connecting Darwinism to astrology, or whether we're connecting religion to science, or science to religion, or water to wine, or whatever you want to call it, that we're having to learn the understanding of complete consciousness, which is not singular, which is not only one way, which is connecting in all ways. That is the mass synchronicity of everything being connected. And that's actually the lesson right now. Are you living in that synchronistic path? And that's what this Mercury retrograde is going to show you. Especially one where it's snapshotting on a big T-square in a fixed T-square, dealing with the sun and moon, which is squaring for a wake-up call. This could be a day where you wake up, because when the sun and moon square, you know, it's an emotional, oh my gosh, it could be an emotional fear, it could be an emotional wake-up, it could be an emotional pressure. And with Saturn on the other side, you know, the moon doesn't want to listen to the truth sometimes. It wants to maybe stay, you know, this could be a day where it's like, oh my God, I just want to stay in what it makes me feel right and what I want to hold on to. I don't want to let go of this. And it's like, there's so much to let go of, to open your feelings, to go with the flow, and to know you're synced right in your truth, that you're synced correctly into the electricity of who you are and the electricity that the universe is trying to take you off in. Are you allowing yourself to go on the boat and to take off on this great energy that the universe wants you to? Or are you trying to hold on to your own way and control things? And Venus on Pluto, this intensity around building the right road, the only way that maybe you want to, can maybe come in between a lot of all this. Because this is trying to identify our lives correctly with Uranus and Aries squaring Pluto and Venus, that overall there's another big T-square forming too. There's two T-squares in today's chart with this Mercury retrograde. Are you synced up correctly by creating the right life for yourself, by living in your truth, by holding on to stupid things, or are you letting go of them and moving into your truth correctly? That's where we're at. And to lose yourself and to the magic of that spirituality, and to what the universe wants you to do, and to what your higher self, your conscious self, knows what to do. This is a test to see if you're coming from consciousness or unconsciousness, and whether or not somebody needs to wake you up like an astrology video like this, or your friend or your family or your loved one, or even yourself, or even God, his or herself, tapping you on the shoulder, is what today really starts to signalize. It will be tomorrow when we see the moon come into Gemini and it squares Mercury and it squares Neptune, which is where this retrograde happened, that you will feel the Mercury retrograde. Today, this is the stationary position. The snapshot is being taken. It's tomorrow when you start waving it and go, oh. So the weekend report tomorrow will be pretty interesting. So check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you have any questions or if you want to have a one-on-one reading. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I will see you for the weekend forecast tomorrow.